Hello and welcome to Dmbfx trading tutorial. Today we're going to talk a bit about the platform, its features, and a bit about our trading strategies. Now, if we start by looking a bit about platform, to your left obviously you'll see a market watch and where you have all the major currency pairs. Now to show more pairs, you basically click on show all, right click and show all, and pretty much all the pairs will appear. Now if you want to see some detailed information about a pair, you obviously right click at that specific pair and you click on chart window and the chart will appear. If you want to zoom in, obviously you can zoom in, and to zoom out you simply zoom out. Now here you obviously have all the time frames. Now here you have the 1 hour chart, you have the 4-hour chart, and you have the daily chart. Now let's look a bit about our trading strategy. Now if you look here, there are basically 4 conditions that needs to be fulfilled before we can actually go into a trade. Now the lines here are basically called the Bollinger Bands, and this is basically called 1, 2, and 3. Basically 3 levels, and the same we have up here, 1, 2, and 3. Now if we basically want to, let's say we want to short a pair, i.e. sell it, the price has to be in one of the sell zones, which is basically here. And the same goes for if we want to buy a pair, the price needs to be in this level. So that's one of the conditions. Now the second condition is basically the RSI. Now if we look at the RSI, you'll find it here. And in order to make a sell trade, for an example, the price needs to be in this level before we can make a trade. Or if we want to buy, the price needs to go all the way down here before we can actually initiate a buy trade. That's the second condition. Now the third condition is basically, if we zoom in, which is basically that the buyers have to be on top of the sellers if we're going to do a buy trade, for an example, or if we're going to do a sell trade, the sellers have to be on top of the buyers, and the buyers is basically the green line here, and the sellers is basically the red line there. Now if we look at the other currency pairs, for an example here, you still see that we can't actually initiate a trade here because the sellers are still not on top of the buyers. And the fourth condition is if we're gonna do a sell, for an example, is that the last candle has to be moving down, like you can see here. If we're gonna do a short sell, that means that the last candle here have to be moving downwards. And the same applies to if we're gonna, for an example, do a buy, then the last candle has to be a green one, has to go up basically. So that's pretty much the 4 conditions that need to be applied before we actually go into a trade. Apart from that, some things to keep in mind obviously is the trend lines, and you can see the trend line here. You can basically create a trend line like this. And we can create one for the top as well. And now you get a better idea of the current trend. Now that's obviously for the hourly time frame. Now if we look at the 4-hour chart, you can see that we zoomed out, and then we have the daily, which is there, and we can create a trend line here as well, like that. There we go. And now obviously you get a clear view and picture of the current trend. And another thing to keep in mind, obviously, which will help you in your trading, is obviously the support and resistance points. Now obviously here we can identify a couple of support and resistance points. For an example here, that's a resistance, and then we obviously have a support here, and then the third one could obviously be around here. So that'll basically give you a better picture of how you're trading and pretty much the three-dimensional view of the trading. That's pretty much it. Thank you very much for watching, and if you have any more questions, please visit us at dmbfx.com. Thank you very much.